All right, we're live on YouTube and we are going live on Instagram too. And here we are. Pedro, thank you for joining me today. We're officially live.
Thank you for joining me, Pierre.
Oh, shucks. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
So this is like our third kind of random get together and stream something and chat. But we have a topic this time.
Right.
Because it's Monday. It's Monday and we want to optimize your time and get you started in the right direction for 2025.
Nice.
I hope nobody minds. I'm gonna eat my gel. Look at this. Doesn't this make you feel like a kid again? I don't even know where the mic is, where the camera
really
is.
Does. It really does, Pedro.
But you're zero sugar because now when you're old, you can't have sugar anymore.
You're hitting us all right in the nostalgia. We have some people joining in from Instagram and YouTube. Hey, everyone. Thanks for hopping on. I think this is going to be a recurring theme, Pedro, if I'm not mistaken. I'm excited personally. I think a lot of people have this need to just hear others talk about business, talk about marketing, talk about all the different things we're going to talk about today. So I'm excited to just have the conversation and kind of talk through. I don't know what's going on with your camera settings, but every time you move, the camera follows you around, and I think it's cool, but also a little dizzying.
I've got just like an intern just holding a camera there, pointing it at me.
There you go.
That's not true.
I
do see it. It's kind of annoying, right?
A little bit.
Okay. All right.
While you're doing that, let's just dig in. Our topic today is going to be 25 business ideas or side hustles that you can start in 2025. And the idea here is to create a business that's going to get you to make another, $500 extra a month. That number to me sounds like a very reasonable number, especially for a side hustle. So you have your primary job and then, you're doing this on the side, on the weekends, off hours. And I think everyone, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
And the nice thing is if you can do that, and you show yourself you can build that $500 a month, then you can start to use that as the base for the next thing that does actually maybe replace your job or, become that business, right? But a lot of people, they can't just quit their job and start doing something full time and then kind of figure it out on the fly, right? So this is a way to build a base of some side money that you have while you figure out what the big picture is.
Love that. I think also there's a sense of security when you don't have all of your income coming from one place. And, let's say your deposit is late or whatever that reason could be. It's always good to just diversify. I think it's good for investing and it's good for investing in yourself too, right? So
agreed. So I've got the list.
Cool.
I'm going to spit them out and you tell me how much they suck.
Cool. That's something I think I can do pretty successfully. Before we get started, everyone on Instagram and everyone on YouTube, if you want to drop a comment or a Q&A or whatever it is, if you have commentary, if you agree or disagree with me and Pedro, we'd love to hear from you. Just pop a comment and we will respond to it. Cool. So Pedro, it's over to you. We can start the list.
Okay. So we're talking about side hustles, right? All of these are going to have probably some component of a personal skill or a talent that you're going to capitalize on, right? So not all of them apply to everybody, but pick the thing that maybe works for you or use it as a jumping point. So the first one, I find this really to be one of the easiest ways to get work. Okay. And that is like freelance writing. You can offer to write blogs, you can do copywriting, ghostwriting, And there's all sorts of platforms like Fiverr and Upwork where you can post your services and people will hire you. What do you think about freelance writing?
I think freelance writing is one of the skills that we will very quickly miss, especially with AI. And I know that seems like a contrarian opinion, but with AI, everyone just assumes that they can just go in and pop in a prompt and just get the final outcome. I think AI is such a great tool to get you started, to give you that first draft, but you still need a person to look at it, to review, to edit, to make sure the information is right, because AI is notorious for like making things up, right? I think that's a great way to get started. I love that you brought up the example of Fiverr or Upwork. Way back in the day, I got myself on Fiverr. I believe it was Upwork, and I got one client, and then from that one client, I was able to purchase more of their tokens or connects or whatever it is, and work my way up. And at the end of it all, I didn't make an insignificant amount of money for the amount of effort that I put in. It was really cool, and my personal kind of point of pride, I guess,
Hold on.
is that I started from zero.
You didn't make an
Double negative.
insignificant amount of money for the amount of work. What are you saying? Are you saying you made money and you're happy with it? That's
I
what you're
made
saying?
money. I was happy about it,
Okay.
especially compared to the amount of work that I put
Okay.
in.
Okay. So it was
So
good. It was a good thing, is what you're saying.
it was a good thing. It started off from actual zero, so that was cool, and that was a nice experience. It was easy enough to get started. The way their credit system actually goes a long way. It's not one of those platforms where you buy credits, but they're really expensive. And for those who don't know, you need the credits to bid for jobs and send proposals.
It sounds like a scam because
Right.
somebody I know did this recently and they were like, "Oh, how many credits?" I'm like, "You got to buy credits to apply
Yeah.
to be a cert." But
Yeah.
I was wrong. I like being wrong. This person bought the credits. They apply within like a month of getting onto Upwork and getting the credits and applying for roles. They had 2 or 3 gigs that were worth like almost $4,000 a month in projects. So, and this wasn't a writer in particular, but Upwork, you can do a whole bunch of different projects. But it's not just for anybody who hears it and thinks like me, like I'm not going to buy credits to apply. It sounds very scammy, but it works. It really does work.
Yeah.
Like you can get projects.
And it really does go a long way in terms of their credit system. So like $10 gets you a whole lot of credits, and you can actually apply for a lot of jobs. So it's a great place to start from scratch. So I love that you mentioned that.
I see someone on Instagram, Sarah Rohr, UX. I wonder if she's a UX designer, because there's definitely you can get a lot of UX work on Upwork, probably Fiverr too. But again, Upwork, I feel like you get better quality stuff. Sarah, tell us where you're from and what's your status. Maybe somebody's looking for UX work and we can plug them into you. It's Sarah, SARA_ROHR_UX on Instagram. Tell us where you're from and if you have a business. Okay, so freelance writing. And again, you can use AI to kind of get you started. I think it makes writing, the best writers I know today are still using UI to like get some idea generation and do some of the legwork, and then they go in and clean it up. So that's really nice. Next, this goes along with the freelance writing, kind of same area, but like graphic design, creating logos, social media graphics, marketing materials. We know that Canva is making this easier than ever. We know that there are a lot of tools, but people still don't want to do the work of building out these graphics, whether it's for ads, whether it's for social media. So again, if you have any sense of like visual design, or you want to, or you've read an article, it's not hard to like pick some templates, customize them, get your work out there, make an extra $500 a month. Let's do a rating system. Let's see. What give me a number, 1 to 10, Pierre. Graphic design, easier or harder than freelance writing?
I would definitely say harder.
Okay.
There's a couple of components. It's harder in a couple of areas. if you're talented, it's all easy, right? If you have just that talent, that skill, visual communication, you can do that easily. You're kind of fluent in how people engage and visually. I think, easy peasy, you can get out the door really quickly. If, however, this is something that's more of a skill that you need to hone and learn, it might take you some time and some experience to, get to a certain level where you're actually, your work speaks for itself.
Okay.
But, today, I think in today's day and age, it's probably the easiest time to start something like that.
Well, here's one that has no skill level required, I think. I mean, yeah, sure, there's a skill, but that's not fair. Good people of these have very high skill levels, but you don't have to have gone to design school. You don't have to know how to write, or in terms of, like, being a writer. And that's a virtual assistant. You can be a virtual assistant, helping people with administrative tasks, scheduling, customer service. Again, this is a very high demand role. If you are looking locally, again, the other things you can do remote pretty easily. But I feel like if you are looking locally, virtual assistant locally can be great, because people need that, like, help with tasks, right? Like, can you pick up my mail? Can you mail this for me? Can you do this thing? So I think virtual assistant can be a great side hustle. You can do it after hours. You can do it remotely. You can do it locally. I think that's a pretty strong one. Also, it builds relationships with people who are often, like, maybe high net worth, because people hiring assistants generally means they have the money to hire an assistant, which means maybe that's a good person to know. What do you think about virtual assistant, or not just virtual assistant, but assistants in general?
I think it's a great idea. I think, if not for the sole reason to meet the people who are kind of movers and shakers in business or in whatever field that you're trying to break into, I think it's as you said, it's a great place to get started.
It's funny, when I worked for a startup in the Bay Area back in, like, 2006, and this guy, our CEO was pretty great. He had already sold a company to eBay, and this was like his second or third company. And this one guy came in who MBA student, MBA grad, really smart, really great, came in and said, "I will work as your assistant for free to the CEO, just to, like, be there." And the company had raised a lot of money, so he didn't end up working for free. They gave him a salary. But the idea that he was able to, like, plug in with this offer of, like, look, I just want to be here. I don't want to be, he didn't apply to be an intern, right? He applied to be an executive assistant for the main guy, for the CEO, and ended up being, like, a gig that he kept for a number of years. And then after that, he was part of that network, and he started his own company, raised something like $3.5 million, and is on his path to an exit if he hasn't already. Great opportunity. If you can do it, it's really worthwhile.
Very cool. Very cool.
This one kind of lines up with the last two. I'm trying to keep these grouped. So this is, like, kind of like professional services or freelancing type stuff. Sure. But social media management. I feel like that's a little tougher, but only tougher because that's not my skill set. There's a lot of, like, digital natives who have been on TikTok their whole lives, and for them, maybe managing social media is second nature. What do you think?
I agree with you. I agree with that concept in general. I think it's a great way to learn how to communicate to the general market. And if you can get a business to kind of give you that head start, I think it's an awesome opportunity. Yeah, totally agree with that. Social media management.
I like it. And one last thing that we'll put into this group to round out the first 5 is online tutoring. If you graduated high school, if you've got any college, you may know some subjects that somebody else may want. There are platforms where you can promote your services as a tutor. And again, if you learned basic literature or algebra or geometry or calculus or whatever, you don't have to be like a whiz. You don't have to have a college degree even. If you can help tutoring at different levels, that's also a great side gig.
I like that idea. I think that's a great idea. On this note, what do you think makes a great tutor or teacher? I put you on the spot there.
What do I think makes a great tutor or teacher? Great. I mean, great that's a high calling.
Let's say good. Good to very good.
I think good starts at caring. If you actually like care about the people you work with, that's the start. That's like the basis for a good tutor, is like caring. Because if you care, you're going to do the work to like try to understand their learning style. You're going to do the work to maybe fill in the gaps in your own knowledge so that you can do the best job to teach them. So I think caring about your students is the first qualification for good.
Love that. I think it's
I feel like you had an answer there that you
I do. No,
okay,
I do.
what's your answer?
So I think a great tutor or teacher is able to identify the lack that the student has in the information that builds up to whatever they're teaching. Because usually if you're seeing a tutor, there's a disconnect somewhere that you missed, maybe, a couple chapters back, maybe a whole like school year back. And I think a really good tutor or teacher is able to find that deficit and take you all the way back and say, okay, your problem is, you didn't understand this concept. And so, fast forward, this is why you're lost or confused.
That's good. I like that.
Thanks. It's totally my wife's idea. I ripped it off and I'm going to take credit for it. It's fine.
Great. I like it. Okay. We got a lot of these to go through and I don't want to be here all day. So,
all right.
Well, nobody wants to be here all day, right? You guys want to get to meet. Next. And I've seen this a lot now. I would suggest like search on YouTube for how to do this if you are curious. But ebook publishing, writing and selling ebooks on platforms like Amazon. Like Amazon has like a Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP. A lot of people are doing that, and they're using AI to write it. So those things, ebook publishing, it's kind of easier than ever. My only caveat here is that you publish one book and you think that's going to make you any money. It's probably not. You kind of have to commit to publish like a lot, because this isn't the kind of thing that you do one and you, I mean, maybe you get lucky and some people do get lucky, but you kind of have to plan to do like 25, 50, 100. And then what's going to happen is, 5%, the top 5% of those that you submit are going to become the ones that actually pay for all the work that you've done. But you don't know when that 5% is going to come. So online book, ebook publishing.
I love that. Cool. I think everyone's an expert in something. So I love that.
Yeah. And even if you're not, just find a niche in the market and use an AI and do what you got to do. Next, selling printables. So printables can be like planners, templates for things. Basically, you go on Etsy, and there's a ton of people selling printables of all kinds of different things, right? For birthday parties, like invitations, all kinds of stuff. So selling printables on Etsy or other marketplaces, I think is good. I'm going to run through some of these. Selling stock photography is on Adobe or like Shutterstock. You can use, if you're familiar with like Midjourney, even if you're not a photographer. If you're a photographer, then it's easy, right? If you're not a photographer, you can use Midjourney or one of the other like AI image generation tools and create stock and sell them on Adobe stock and Shutterstock. A lot of them don't take AI. So like Getty and iStock, I don't think they take AI generated images. That you have to actually have a nice camera. I don't think iPhone photography works in those either for Getty. But for Adobe stock, you can submit AI generated illustrations and things like that. And that could be a really nice side hustle if you're interested in that.
Cool. We got a comment on Instagram saying from Academia Latam, you can work as an editor for Tiger Reuters.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Reuters is like the big news service, right?
I believe so. I believe so.
Editor, I like it.
Yeah.
Even better than writing. Is it easier? Maybe it's easier. I don't know. Editors are kind of like magic makers. If if they know what they're doing.
Right.
Okay. And then the other thing is like customizing digital art or illustration. So like a lot of people, my wife, we're going to Disney, and she got like T-shirts that have like Sostre family Christmas or something on them, and she paid somebody on I don't know where it was, Etsy probably, to like do it and just customize it. And now she could probably put it in Canva and type it out and submit it, but like again, it's the work. It's like the effort of doing it.
Yeah.
So somebody's paying somebody to customize that digital artwork and get it done. And again, usually a platform like Etsy or Redbubble can work there.
By customizable, it's more like personalized, right?
Yeah, personalized or customized if like if that's, I don't know what the difference is. I want it red instead of blue. Is that customized rather than
personalized? Personalized, it's like,
both customized and personalized. Whatever,
right.
expand or not expand, whatever you guys want to do. So this one ties directly to us, like here at Builderall. And I tried to make these not all things that like, this is not a Builderall ad, right? This is not supposed to be, oh, come to Builderall and you can make $500 a month. You can, but that's not what this is about here. But this one lends itself to us because we have a lot of people, we have thousands of people who are doing this with us, and it actually works really well, is online courses. If you've got a skill and you've got some kind of knowledge base that you want to share with others, doing online courses is hugely profitable. We've got people who do online courses for like the weirdest things. One guy, he does chrome dipping of wheels. That was like the oddest. Like, I don't know how many people in the world are looking to learn the art of chrome dipping wheels, but apparently it's a lot. It's a lot of people that need to learn how to chrome dip wheels, because he has a course on Builderall and it sells. You can also like put your course on something like Udemy or Teachable, but I find that like launching the course yourself using an e-learning platform can work really well. You make more profit. You can set your own prices. You're not competing directly with all the other people in the marketplace. So I love the course building. Any thoughts there, Pierre?
I love that. I think I mentioned this last time. I have an example of someone who made a course about canning, like canning vegetables and making jam and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And she got her course to get her $600 to $700 on a very consistent basis. And, it's still going on as far as I...
And you record it once and it's there and it just makes money. Let me ask you about canning. This is a totally unrelated. My wife and I have this discussion. What do you have to put? Do you have to put, like, she's just like, there's no way that you can like preserve something without some kind of fake process and then can it and then it's going to last. But
totally
it does?
can. You totally can. Yeah. You totally can.
Why doesn't it spoil?
So I'm going to give you, as far as I know, if someone in the comments wants to correct me, please go ahead. But as far as I know, and then first of all, you can't can everything. But the idea is you create an environment that's sterile to begin with. And then the food itself needs to be at a certain pH. So that's like acidity, the level of acidity versus alkaline. That's a whole different chemistry session. But then the whole canning process, you boil the cans, right? And effectively you kill all the bacteria that's inside it, sort of like pasteurizing milk. And and the canning process, the boiling process, creates a vacuum and keeps the lid tight. So
there you go. Now I can properly win this argument I've been having with her about canned foods.
Right. Hopefully, that was a random question, but hopefully I answered.
It is random. Okay, we're 10 through the 25 that we're doing here. First 10 were really like freelancing type of stuff for professional services. The first 5 were freelancing. The next 5, it was around like selling some kind of digital product or digital thing that you've created. These next 5 are really going to be around like reselling, or you're not creating anything, you're not doing a service, but like an e-commerce reselling. So one, drop shipping is a fantastic way to make some extra money on the side. There's like a whole subculture of how to find good products and where to list them and how to do it. Shopify is a great solution for this. Again, you can do it with Builderall, but I got to be honest, like I love Shopify for pure drop shipping. You know, if you just want to plug in to a service and resell the stuff, Shopify can be a great solution. I think, you know, you can add Builderall's marketing services on top of Shopify because they provide a great platform, but then it doesn't really come with all the bells and whistles of like the email automation and the continued kind of sales funnel that you get with Builderall. But for the platform and the connection to drop shippers, I love Shopify. I don't know if you have any feedback on drop shipping or if we should just keep going.
I love it. We can just keep going. I love it though.
Yeah. Next, I know actually a lot of people, you know who does this? Like a lot of people's moms do this, which is like flipping items to sell on like Poshmark or eBay, right? Like you find like some of them do like luxury goods, some of them do like garage sale stuff, some of them do Goodwill, finding things, good brand, they know it'll resell and they flip it. And they definitely make like hundreds a month doing this. And it's also kind of fun for them because it's generally people who like maybe have a little extra time on their hands and they like shopping, you know? So it feeds their existing hobby of like, hey, I get to go to like thrift shops and I get to go garage sale hunting, or I get to go to Goodwill. And by the way, I found all these deals that just made me an extra $350.
Love it.
I like that one. I wouldn't do it because I don't like shopping, but a lot of people do. I think like there's print on demand services, a little different than drop shipping. Drop shipping, you're just kind of shipping other people. You're creating orders for things that other people already have, and then you're sending them the order, and then they ship it. We didn't define drop shipping, but this is YouTube. Go on YouTube, look up what drop shipping is. We're not going to define everything. A little bit different is print on demand, where you sort of create designs and you connect with a company like Printful, or there's a bunch of them. And basically they print your designs on garments and they ship them out. So they're still doing the shipping, they're still handling the creation, but they are based on your designs. I think print on demand is really, really hot right now. It's really easy. It's fun because you get to like make something digitally that becomes a real world product, and that's kind of fun. And again, I think Shopify is a great platform for this, for the actual work of listing and connecting to the print on demand provider and taking the orders. We have, by the way, I don't know if we haven't announced this yet, but we have like a really fun Shopify plugin coming where you get all the benefits of like the supercharged bundle for Builderall, which is like the exit intent pop-up, the live chat, like basically all the social proof, all the things that come with the Builderall supercharged bundle. But it's actually going to have some automations that are built in specifically to Shopify. So I'm super excited about that. That's coming in 2025. Hopefully Q1, maybe Q2, but it's going to make your, if you have a Shopify store, it's going to make your Shopify store sell like a third more than you do today. And it's going to be really cost effective. I really like it. So anyway, print on demand, Printful. This, I feel like more people did this before. I don't see as many people doing it now, but I've known people who did this. Again, they did it like for fun, and then they ended up turning it into business. Is like handmade things. So people who make candles or soap or jewelry. Like I know a lot of people who started doing this for fun, like a husband and wife who actually two developers, and they were both developers in the company that I worked with. And on their free time, they would make candles. And it started out like they would just bring them in the office as like gifts for people. And then people started asking, hey, can I buy one of your candles? I really like this thing. And it became like a little side hustle for them. It's not like they needed the money. They both had really good jobs, but they just really liked doing this thing. And then at some point, you can only fit so many candles in your house, so they had to get rid of them. And it became a little side hustle: candle making, soap making, jewelry making. And you can tell that anywhere. I mean, again, Builderall has super checkout. You can use Shopify, you can use Etsy, you can use eBay. The opportunities for how to get it sold are out there. The idea of what you can sell, I think, is good. And then one more for this group, which I've used a little bit, but I don't know as many details about, but I've heard a lot of people talking about is like Amazon, like FBA, like the Fulfilled by Amazon.
Yeah.
where you can actually like source and like warehouse your products on Amazon, and they'll ship it out for you.
Yeah.
I've heard this one is, because it's kind of Amazon. I think I've heard a lot of people that like started this and then they kind of got burned because Amazon like said they could no longer do it or took away their store or whatever. So I've heard some nightmare stories about this, but Fulfilled by Amazon is a thing that you can do.
It's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Okay, the 15 through 25. How are we doing on time? What are we doing? This 28 minutes?
Yeah, we're up to 30 minutes, but I think
30 minutes.
we're all hanging out. So
All right, we got 10 more.
cool.
I'm going quickly, but slow me down if you want me to slow down.
I think of the 5 that you just mentioned, Amazon FBA, selling handmade items, print on demand, flipping items on eBay or Poshmark, drop shipping, and online courses. Which one would you gravitate to out of the whole list?
I'm like a creative, and I love the idea of creating something just without a lot of work. So I like the print on demand. I think it's fun to be able to like come up with a design or artwork or like quote, like a lot of the style now is like just quote, like funny quotes on a t-shirt, like, and getting something like that, putting it on a hat, putting it on a t-shirt, putting it on a tote bag or whatever, and offering that for sale. I think that's a really fun option. I love the print on demand world. Cool. It's like there's no money up front. Like it's literally like a $0 to start business. When I first did the company we talked before, the company that I sold in 2016 was a clothing company, but back then there wasn't print on demand like we have today. So we like to start the company, we needed like several $1,000s to buy that first run of inventory, and then every time you sell out, you've got to buy more inventory, and of course they get you because like the more you buy, the cheaper it is. So running an inventory-based business gets very expensive very quickly. We started with $5,000, and pretty soon it was like we loved Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We loved that time of year, but it was like millions of dollars to buy the inventory we needed to fulfill those holidays. So having print on demand where there's no upfront money, you receive the money for an order, you pay for your printed on demand products, and you just keep the difference. It's great business.
Awesome. Love it.
How about you?
I would probably gravitate to selling handmade items. Something I've dabbled in before. I have a lot of that type of hobby. And for people who are really skilled and have that hobby anyway, why not sell it? Right? Because you're doing it for fun. Why not have a situation where the hobby pays for itself?
What's your handmade go-to? What do you craft when you're at home and you have a moment?
Ready? Crochet. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I have an anvil and a forge in my basement, and I dabble.
Whoa.
With a little blacksmithing here and there. Yeah.
This guy had to go with like the most
archaic
/ masculine. You could have been like, oh, I just chop down trees and then I whittle, but you went straight for like metalworking.
I have that too, actually. I keep my little carving knife here in this pot, in this drawer. So this is a little carving knife that my mother-in-law gave me. I make my own, but that's a story for another day.
We could not be two more different people. All right, next. This is something that's super hot right now. I think it takes a particular skill, like a particular, maybe not a skill, but a certain personality type. But let's throw it out there. So there's like the world of content creation, right? Mm-hmm. I can list these off pretty quickly and we can go through them. But like podcasting, there's a lot of people doing really well with a little podcast side hustle, right? They do it. Actually, we know someone who does like a true crime podcast, and she just loves it. It's a thing that she loves, and she hopes one day it's going to pay. It's going to pay in spades. But right now, she does it because she really likes it, and she's got the personality for that kind of thing. So podcasting is one thing. Social media influencers. If you like being on camera and you like, talking about stuff, there's so many like networks you can join now where companies are going to send you products and you can talk about those products, and sometimes they're going to pay you to talk about those products, obviously based on how big your following is and how great your content is. But social media influencing is like a legitimate side hustle today. You can make money doing it. You just got to have that type of personality. Same thing like a YouTube channel. Now, YouTube channels don't necessarily have to be like face channels. There's like a lot of faceless YouTube channels now where you're doing content, or you're even using like a combination of AI to put visuals together over some voiceover. So it's not quite the same as influencing, because usually that's your face. But a YouTube channel on a topic doesn't have to be faceless, but it can be. Can also do really well. This one's a little older, but it still kind of works, is I think the world of blogging. If you like writing long form content, rather than doing it as a freelancer, if you write for yourself and you can create a niche around the type of content you like to do, there's lots of ways to monetize that, either through ads or sponsored posts or affiliate links. So blogging is another one. And the last one, which again, our audience that knows Builderall knows quite well, is affiliate marketing. Generally, if you're going to do a good job at affiliate marketing, you are a content creator, and you're going to look at the products that you're promoting, and you are going to create content that adds to that world of product content, right? So obviously, like, again, shameless plug here for Builderall. We've got a very vibrant affiliate marketing program. Our top affiliate marketers earn over $10,000 a month recurring revenue. But again, they're active. They're creating content. They're creating courses on how to create websites. They're doing this work to get people to sign up. And I think that's really valid. But having a program where you pay recurring revenue is really nice. We do that at Builderall. I know a lot of, when I started at Builderall, it was like one of the first things is a lot of our affiliates asked to meet with me, and they're like, look, I joined Builderall and I literally like know that my bills are paid every month, and I get to be free, right? For not free to do nothing, right? Because our program does require active participation, but free to like create whatever content I want, right? And kind of like look at what Builderall is doing and see how I can add to that and how I can speak to an audience around that. So affiliate marketing, you can make a ton of money on affiliate marketing. Great way to do it. It is kind of like in that content creation world.
Nice.
So that's those 5. Did you get the 5? Did I give them?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Which one do you gravitate towards? Metal worker.
So again, I don't want to oversell myself. I'm definitely not a good blacksmith. I can make the basics. I like all of the options that you gave, especially podcasting. I'll do a caveat, because it looks like, or it seems like, everyone has a podcast lately. What I think is a successful strategy is to find an industry that is not saturated and create a podcast for that. So like, let's say if you're like in the medical device space, run a podcast about, either that topic and all the 10 the tangent topics off it, and you can very easily monetize it, especially because your audience would be really targeted, and you can then go to medical device manufacturers and say, hey, I have a few thousand industry experts, subject matter experts. These are my downloads every week. These people are tuning in for that specific subject matter, and that's a really good way to get off the ground really quickly. You can do yet another true crime podcast, or yet another, I don't know, like reacting to like Reddit threads. All of that's fine, but find the empty space in the market. You can dominate that easily, and especially if it's an industry that you can then monetize.
You can do true crime about medical devices.
There you go. Then that way you win the internet.
Genius.
Immediately.
Okay, we're down to the last 5 for today. We could do these all day, I think, but we don't want to overwhelm people. And people are thinking, okay, it's 2025. What do I want to do? I will say, like, too, keep in mind all these things are nice. Even if you're an existing business owner, these things are a nice way to like supplement your existing business revenue, right? Like you can usually add, like a podcast generally will help any existing business if it's done right. You know, you could do print on demand merch for whatever business you have. You can do freelance. You can do like writing, blogging for your business, and that will help as well. So even though these are like side hustles you can do if you have a job and you're looking to start your side thing, these are still useful if you have a business, you know. And I think that maybe it goes without saying, but I just like to point it out just in case people are like, well, I don't need a side hustle. Yeah, but these are still good, like valid ways to add incremental revenue to your existing business. So these are a little bit more like technical or specialized. They require like some specialized knowledge, but they're still doable, especially like in today's economy. And the first one, which I think, again, a lot of Builderall users know, is website development. So before, website development meant you had to be a developer and you needed to know coding and you needed to know like all this technical stuff. Now, like a lot of people are selling websites and website development without having to know code because they're using platforms like Builderall to build those websites. So somebody, they need a website. You can charge anywhere from like, some people charge $500, some people charge $50,000 to build the website for them, right? And figure out which tool you need to build it, right? But there's so many online builders that you can do website development today as a non-technical person and make that an offering that makes you money, and actually pretty good money, because you can charge a lot for websites.
Love
it. Next, I think digital marketing services, very popular for a side hustle, right? It takes some specialized knowledge. Again, if you don't really want to sell digital marketing services or consulting, if you don't know anything about digital marketing, but if you do, and again, this would be the one, like if you have a job and you do marketing for a company, you can easily like do a side hustle selling your services to other companies and generate that extra income. And that's really nice. And that can become the beginning of your own agency, or just, again, a side hustle that you do to make some extra money. So it's kind of taking something you might be doing for a job already and turning it into a side hustle.
Love it.
Go ahead.
Sorry, let me just cut in. .com Secrets Providence just came in the comments and said they were just doing research for a client and came across the live feed. They didn't know this was happening, and they're trying to follow the topic of conversation. Let's just give a summary here. We're going through the 25 side hustles that can make you $500 a month in 2025. So we're at number 23. We'll do a quick recap at the end, but that's where we are.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Great. I like that. We should mention that like once every so often. We're going to get better at this the more we do it. So if you're hanging in now, you're like one of the real ones, because this is the worst it's going to get. Gonna get better. Digital marketing services. The next one. I actually know someone who was doing work from home in this field like 25 years ago. So this has actually been around for a really long time, but it still exists, is data entry. So there are businesses that need data entry. Usually you do part-time, and sometimes it's data like re-entry, like taking it from one thing and converting it into another format. Sometimes it's like the person I knew used to get like those like sweepstakes entries that people would fill out and mail them in, and they would get like in the mail a whole box of these things, and she would just get them, convert them to digital format, throw it out, next one. That's what she would do. And she would do it whenever she felt like it. It was like she didn't have to work certain hours or anything. And then at the end of the week, submit the digitized file with all the entries. And cool side hustle. It's a cool way to make some money. So data entry is like that one's, you know, you got to know how to type. And generally, the faster you type, the better, you know. And sometimes if there's like data conversion that's necessary, you've got to maybe know a little bit of data conversion. But it is still entry level. People can figure it out. Two more. I think this is going to round out our 25 side hustles for 2025. We may do another 25 too, because we could probably do another 25. This one is also, again, a little more technical, but SEO consulting. It's very hard for, especially even like professionals, to keep up with all that's going on for SEO. There's updates all the time. There's changes all the time. There's algorithm updates. So if you make a little bit of effort to like figure out what's going on, like in the most recent updates for SEO, you can offer kind of like to translate that information to others as an SEO consultant. And I've seen that go over really well. It can be really well appreciated, because even like someone who's a professional marketer, the last thing you want to do is have to like read every single algorithm update, right? And there's probably only a few that are really important. So learning what's going on in SEO and then translating that over as an SEO consultant can be really fruitful.
Nice.
And then I think the last one, actually this kind of works with us too, because we have a huge tech support department, but online tech support. Builderall, for example, we've got like 50 employees, 50 team members that are tech support. And they come in, we teach them about the product, and they just handle tickets. Like, we've got thousands of customers submitting tickets. They take a look at them. They respond. And with us, our tech support teams are like team members. So it's, you know, same people working full time. But a lot of companies offer like tech support roles on like a part-time or contract basis, where you get in, you do whatever tickets you feel like doing, and then, you know, if you don't feel like doing anymore, somebody else is going to pick them up. And I've seen that happen quite a bit. There's a company called Arise. I don't know if they're still around. Arise.com. Let's see. Yeah, Arise is still around. They were a client of my agency's, I don't know, 15 years ago. But yeah, digital customer support. So what they do is companies who are looking for tech support or customer support teams go to them, and they basically have a whole network of like work from home people that, you know, when you're ready to work, you put your headset on, you log into the portal, and you just start answering tech support calls or customer support calls. And you have the documentation from the company to help you answer those questions. And then when you're done, you just stop, right? Like, no big, like, it's up to you. You set your own schedule, you work your own hours, they pay you according to whatever deal you have or whatever the company's paying. And a lot of people really like it. It's like freedom to do your own thing and log in and work from home. And so that's the last one, online tech support or customer support.
Love it. Love it.
And the company, if you do want to check out a company that does offer this, it's arise.com. I haven't worked with them for a long time, but they were a customer of my agency 15 years ago when I had an agency.
Wow. Cool. Very cool. I'm just posting these in the comment section here.
I like it. So that's it. 25 ways you can make an extra $500 a month. You don't, you know, why do we do this as Builderall in our last few minutes here is because generally we know if people start to make an income on the side, they should have a website where they can get leads, where they can talk about what they offer, where they can talk, because of course you have, if you're doing Etsy or you're doing whatever, like, you're going to want to have your Etsy profile. But at some point in your journey, you want to grow beyond like being dependent on that platform, right? And you want to sell directly, and you want to start to build your own audiences and your own email list, right? If Etsy is your provider, you want to be able to start pulling those orders, those email addresses out of Etsy and creating your own newsletter, and then remarketing back to those existing customers as long as you have permission. So we know that when people are successful, it translates to them being interested in being more successful, and that leads them to Builderall, companies like Builderall, especially because we can handle all the other things. We can do your website, or you can do your website, your email, your live chat, all the other things that you could possibly want to do to help grow your business. You can do them through Builderall. So when you're successful, we're more successful. So this is that's why we're doing this as Builderall.
Love it. Love it. We still have 10 minutes. Everyone in the comments, drop a line, ask your questions, and tell us what your favorite is out of this list of 25 that you dropped in. Pedro, I want to put you on the spot. Give us the best and the worst in this list. What would you go for? What would you totally not go for? And this is a personal thing to you. It doesn't mean that any of these specific side hustles is necessarily bad.
Yeah.
It's it's a personal fit, I think.
So I'm going to give like categories.
Sure.
Okay. If you want to make the most money, I think things like website development or digital marketing services, they are probably like they're high ticket. They're high ticket items. If you're looking at something like print on demand, every sale is going to be like $50 or $25. If you're looking at something like website development, every sale is going to be like a couple thousand, right? If you're looking at digital marketing, you can charge something like $1,000 a month on like a really like a low end, right? So in terms of if I wanted to generate, or if I needed to generate a lot of money quickly, I would go with website development or digital marketing. So those are my two. Now, if I was looking at, if I didn't need to generate money quickly, but I wanted to generate a long-term revenue, something that's going to continue to pay me over the course of many years, I would go for like that content creation route, which is a YouTube channel or podcasting or social media influencing, or even like affiliate marketing. Really, I would use the social media influencing to push my affiliate marketing, right? So I think those, while they don't generate a lot of money right away, like if you sell one website, you can make $2,000. Great, you got $2,000. You're making your first $2,000 could be really difficult on a podcast or a YouTube channel. But the nice thing is, once you build it up to that point where you do make that $2,000, you're going to start making $2,000 regularly, probably, and you don't have to do as much work, right? So I love the website and the digital marketing for money now. I love the content creation where you're becoming sort of an influencer, or you're building a platform that has long-term value for, 5 years down the road, when you just want to sit back and collect advertising revenue and affiliate marketing dollars, and the amount of effort you have to make is much lower. Like that. Like, again, the third one I would say is course creation, because that kind of fits both. Where if you can do a course and you sell it, you can sell a course for $1,000. If it's a really good course and you've got a reputation and people know who you are, you can sell a course for $1,000. You record it once, and you're just going to keep making money from that course for as long as that topic is relevant. So that would be my number 3, because it's probably the hardest to get off the ground, I think, is courses.
Love it.
What about you?
Kind of similar. If we can go back to like the handmade crafts or handmade skills, you can expand that in so many different directions. And I'll give you an example. There's this older gentleman that runs a forge called Black Bear Forge. He started his Etsy store. That's where he sold a lot of his actual products. But then he created a YouTube channel that now has about 350,000 subscribers. He can probably spin that off, and I don't know if he has or hasn't, to a course that's paid. And then from that, you can expand even more. You can do some affiliate marketing. You can sell some merch, print on demand. So you can create this hub where if you're good at one thing, you can find ways to teach it, to promote it, to use, whatever footage that you're getting while you create your item, to explain, to show to people, post it on YouTube, create a course, do a podcast, sell affiliate products, you know, with other manufacturers of whatever it is that you're selling. So you can blow that up all the way. So I love things that give you the opportunity to diversify and find different ways to kind of spin that off and make extra money. So
You know, it's not exactly what you were saying, but I love Academia Latam. If you're on Instagram, Academia_Latam had a comment that I thought was fantastic, which is, you know, he would find an expert in something and create a partnership to sell an online course. And I think that's fantastic. Creating partnerships is a skill in and of itself. Like, people think, oh yeah, I just, you know, I'm good at talking to people, but like, not everybody's good at partnerships. It's a tricky thing to do. So that actually would go under, like, if, you know, when we were talking, there's like the things that are kind of like low skill, like freelance, and then things that are like high skill or specialized knowledge. I love that idea, but keep in mind, partnerships is a skill. Like, if you're good at partnerships, you should be doing that all day, because it's a very high level skill that can net you a ton of revenue.
Nice.
But I love that comment. That's great. Find an expert and create a partnership to sell online courses. That's beautiful. It's fantastic.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, that wraps up our 25. Pedro, thank you for putting that list together. And
we have two things that we want to do that we've talked about, that I just want to remind people. One is we're currently in the middle of getting some reports done where we can analyze, as you know, like Builderall has thousands of clients, hundreds of thousands of websites, billions of emails that go out every year. We're crunching all this data to put together like our first state of digital marketing report. We're really excited about that. We should probably make a landing page for this where people can put their email address if they want to get it when it comes out. But sure, we are working on that. We're seeing some really interesting data points that are coming out. And I think it's like everything in digital marketing changes so quickly. You know, I often come across people who were really successful like 6 years ago, and they're struggling now and they don't understand why. And it's like, well, the things you were doing before don't work anymore. You know, you've got to change it up. You've got to stay with the time. So I think this state of digital marketing will do really well. And then the other thing that I want to do is we had our last talk was, it was like we came up on the fly with like, what was it, 4 things that you can do in 2025 to be more successful. I love those 4 things. I want to turn that into a piece of like downloadable content that is more like, these lives are great and I love doing them, but people really have to sit through us being us for some portion of it before it gets to the meat, right? So I want to take that good stuff that we came up with in that one and give them like a downloadable that because those were 4, like if I want to do those 4 things as Builderall, I want to make sure those 4 things are on our list of things to do, but they mostly are. But like it's a good reminder, like for even if you're like a marketer with 20 years of experience, like just having this checklist of like, I need to remember to do these things. So I want to create those 2 pieces of content. So if you've heard us talk about those things and you're interested, you can email us. We don't have a landing page for it yet. We should, considering we enable people to make landing pages. And this is like the kind of like, what do they call lead magnets? This is like the perfect lead magnet we should have our own funnel for. But we don't. Maybe we'll get it before the next live, but I doubt it. But if you do want either to be on the list for our State of Digital Marketing report, which again is analyzing hundreds of thousands of websites, literally billions of emails to try to pull out all the best practices and the do's and don'ts and the red flags, shoot me an email, pedro@builderall.com. I don't know if you want to put that on the screen.
Yep.
pedro@builderall.com. And I will make sure you're on the list for whichever one you ask for, either the State of Marketing report or the 4 things that you should be doing in 2025 to grow your business.
Nice.
And you can email Pierre too. He likes hearing from people. He'll probably reply to you faster than I will, but I will get it and you'll be on the list.
All right. Let me get my email up on the screen too once I reboot my English. All right, here we go. Pierre, Pierre, at builderall.com and Pedro at builderall.com. Shoot us an email. We'll get you on the list. And awesome. Pedro, thank you so much. We're at time for today. For everyone who joined in on Instagram and YouTube, thank you for your time. We appreciate it and keep coming back.
All righty. Great. Thanks, guys.